These are my junk, so I can take some pictures.
Raise your right hand, Bob Burke. I, Rob Burke,
I, Robert Burke,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and status of the United States of America,
I will support the Constitution and the status of the United States of America,
the Constitution, the laws of the state of Ohio,
the Constitution, the laws of the state of Ohio,
and the charter and ordinances of the village of Newton Falls,
charter and ordinances of the village of Newton Falls,
county of Trumbull,
county of Trumbull,
state of Ohio,
state of Ohio,
and I will faithfully and honestly
I will faithfully and honestly
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
my duties as Ward 3 councilperson
my duties as Ward 3 councilperson
for the village of Newton Falls
of the village of Newton Falls
during my continuance
during my continuance
in said position
in said position,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to my best of my ability and understanding.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I was trying to take pictures, but the sun was in the back.
That was my personality show.
Yes. All right.
Regular meeting, March 19th, 2025.
We all ready for the call to order?
All right.
Please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're stopping at the bar, I'm leaving, I come out.
Ms. Benitez?
Present.
Mr. Exiotis? Mr. Burke? Here. Mr. Brufner?
Present.
Ms. Stemper?
Here.
Mayor? Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Axiotis from tonight's meeting.
I will second that.
It's Mr. Brufner and Ms. Stemper. Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Brufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stemper?
Yes.
Pass 4-0.
All right, do we have any special presentations by staff members or invited consultants tonight?
I'm not sure I'm an invited consultant, but here we go.
Said for me to
Thank you for this opportunity to address you this evening. I'm David McKinstry from Heritage Accord, and I am here to announce Heritage Accord's first just lost my train of thought. Our first fundraiser for the Newton Falls Community Center. It will be dinner on the covered bridge, held on Saturday, May 10th. It is hosted by Heritage Accord in collaboration with the Village of Newton Falls and Trumbull County Engineers Office. It will begin at 4:30 with a social gathering, 5:30 dinner consisting of a steak dinner cooked on site, and followed at 7 o'clock with music and dancing at the covered bridge. There will be a DJ and a cash bar with local wine and beer. We will have door prizes. There will be a 50-50 raffle, plus a silent auction of an original Edward Sinchek painting of the Newton Falls Covered Bridge. This event is limited. There are only 126 seats because that's how many people we can actually sit on the covered bridge. You will be eating on the bridge. Tickets are $75 per person. You can reserve a table for 6 or a table for 8. Those are the sizes of our tables. The event is currently up, excuse me, on Eventbrite. That is how tickets will be purchased. No tickets will be sold at the door. It is an adult-focused event, so while we will have family-oriented fundraisers later on, this one is basically a 21 and older event. We are looking for additional sponsors for this event. You can sponsor for $125, which will give you advertising for the event on our website, our Facebook page, and all printed material about the event. You can be a gold sponsor for $200, which includes the above and your name and logo printed on our banner, which will be at the event itself. Some questions, frequently asked questions. This is considered a smart casual attire affair. You are going to be outside on the bridge. We do suggest that you wear sensible shoes. The bridge is wooden decked, so once you're there, we do have, as I said, dance floor available. We will have a DJ and we will have a cash bar. So we're looking forward to a very interesting evening. We will have parking at Old Arlington Field. And as I said, there will be a cash bar with local wine and craft beer served. There will be restroom facilities. All of this information plus more is on the Eventbrite page. You can look at it, and it also has information there for you to contact us regarding the event. If you are interested in a table, you have your group with the table, please contact us and we will make that arrangements to have that done. I can answer any questions at any time, or you can go to our webpage and ask questions or contact us. As I said, space is limited. We're only 126 seats available, but we're looking forward to this event. It is something new for Newton Falls, but we are working with people from Ashtabula County who do this because Ashtabula also has covered bridges, but none as famous as ours. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to public comments, limited to agenda items only.
Good evening, John Barr, X660 North Canal. I'd like to read a little statement here. I would like to speak on the agenda in the minutes tonight. I would hope the contract given to the police chief is part-time. The charter says that we only have to have a chief of police. I believe the chief and the hours have been cut back on the zoning officer. I believe the chief and the zoning officer can ride together giving out citations. Even though our leads computer has been shut down, I still believe the police chief can give out citations for parking. Also, who is exercising and keeping up all our vehicles. Here is only so much our chief can do in a week. We should try to save our money to help bring back our police department. Our own finance director at the previous 2 meetings ago said the chief had issued no citations. The other thing I'd like to bring up tonight, Mrs. Sempert was speaking on Dora. This town isn't ready to handle it. We only have 1 full-time officer per shift, and it was voted down by Mrs. Sempert in
John,
other
you have
council
to,
meetings.
you have to stick to agenda.
That's in the paper, Mayor. That's in the paper. That was part of what the minutes are part of the agenda, sir. That's what we was ruled on by the law director a long time ago. Minutes are part of the agenda.
Mr. Lembian, is that?
Well, that's,
I think I would disagree, but I would like to do research, but I think for purposes of tonight, we should.
Let's finish this up then.
well,
Yeah.
okay, it's not long. I'm not here to attack anybody. We only have 1 full-time officer per shift, and it was voted down by Mrs. Stempert and other council members. The veterans did not support it because they are a private club. The benefit is not worth the risk. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to reports. Mayor has nothing to report. Council, Ms. Pat, do you have anything?
Oh, I talked to Jamie today, but she's going to bring it up later on, so it's about the smart meters and about the deficit on the municipal court. But Jamie's going to explain that.
Ms. Julie, do you have anything?
Just real quick, we had a fire board meeting last night. We have a full board seated now. We have Mr. Coons and Mr. Wentworth representing the city. Had a pretty good meeting. We have been, I started writing this down, we have been given a grant, we were just notified today by the chief from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for $4,646. So that's a good thing. That we've gotten a lot of grants for the fire district, so that was nice news today.
Ms. Julie?
Our next meeting will be April 14th at 6 o'clock at the Township Building.
Mr. Rufner, do you have anything, sir?
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
Nothing yet?
Not yet. I mean,
Been here 5 minutes, come on.
Mr. Lembian, do you have anything to report tonight, sir?
You know, I generally do not, Mayor, but I just wanted to highlight one thing in the report from the Newton Falls Municipal Court. I know everyone, I think, believes that I try to be responsive to council members when questions come up, but I just wanted to highlight what we do in the prosecutor's office when I'm not doing civil work for the law department. I just wanted to point out that in 2024, we handled well in excess of 5,600 cases in Youngstown Municipal Court, and that all comes right through our law department and the prosecutor's office over there in the court. So I just wanted you to be aware of that number, and for no particular reason. I just want you to know I'm not doing anything when I'm not here. Thank you.
Miss Jamie, do you have anything for us tonight?
Yes, just a few things. The financial audit that was pending from 21-22 is still pending. However, Charles Harris, who are the CPA firm that's handling that audit, has indicated that they're going to start wrapping everything up, and they should be scheduling a post-audit soon. So that's as much progress as we've had in a bit. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for helping me a little on that. A lot. And as this process goes through, I don't know if anyone on council has been involved with a post-audit before, but you will be asked to participate in the post-audit process as there are findings that will be within that audit report as well as within the management letter. And I had spoke about this a few meetings, but back onto the SSI conversion for the finance office, we now have the SQL servers in place. that we were being asked to purchase. And so now this is going to continue, and the process should be completed this year. Takes about 6 to 8 months of planning, but as it gets closer to going from our old system, which is eGov, over to VIP, there will be a 5-day period that everything will shut down in the finance office. Everything meaning what runs on eGov now, which is accounts payable, and also the utility office. So we will stay open, but we will take payments or we will take invoices, but we will not be processing anything until it comes back up live. So that's, I'll keep you updated on when those dates are in case someone comes in with questions. This does not, however, impact anyone's payroll because Paychex is a separate system, so we will continue to process payroll and everyone will continue to be paid. An update on income tax non-filers. I now have the list from Rita. We've gone through the list and eliminated who we feel we will never collect from in the case of someone who's passed away or addresses unknown we've received return certified mailers from. So we now have that list ready to go, so we'll be printing those and sending them out. So if you have any questions come back to you, Rita does process our income taxes. My office does not. And we do not accept any payments. Any kind of negotiation or anything that Rita has identified as owed will have to be ironed out with Rita. We can pass along the information to Rita. We can also give phone numbers, but we won't be processing anything or accepting any payments. And then as Mrs. Benitez had stated, the utility appeals and the use of the smart meters within the city. We went through several utility appeals this afternoon, and it was noted in several of the appeals that the customer had been notified by the utility department that they'd had a large consumption event. That is due to the use of smart meters. Without those meters, that would not happen. But we now have some internal indicators and reports that the office is using, and we are notifying people when we see a large consumption event from a water break, for instance. We'll give someone a call. They can then shut their water off and maybe not incur those large bills, or at least not as large as they could have been without those meters. So that has been a really good thing that has happened within the city. And my staff has been wonderful with it. They've been proactive, and they are placing those phone calls. So I just wanted to thank both Andrea and Sue, as they've been doing their best to reach out, and they do take some pretty nasty calls, but they have been pursuing these very well, and I feel like they've done a great job. So just wanted to let you guys know that. And then the utility appeals, this should eventually trickle down to those appeals as they should start to lessen. And the city should experience some savings because most of the time these bills are so large, they're not being paid. So that's everything on my list at the moment. Thank you.
Mr. City Manager.
Just a few things. We've spoke in the past few weeks here about the water plant, and they've had some pump failures, et cetera, et cetera. So Cody and I got together, and we're doing our best for him to maintain and stay within his budget. In doing so, we noticed that there was a considerable amount of overtime in the department. We did some research on that, figured out why and what was going on. So we've implemented a shift change for the day turn shift. The day turn shift will be running from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. There'll be a break, and the afternoon shift will remain 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. During that break, Cody's always there. Water distribution, their entire crew is still on and working until 3:30. So we've got the extra coverage, but this shift change will cut the overtime cost by 75%. So what's causing it is the county throughout the time, different times through the night, are drawing off of the tower. So what's happening is we'll get an alarm because the water level reaches a low level or the point where it trips an alarm, then somebody's having to go in and early in the morning and start the plant up. So by doing this, we'll eliminate those call outs and whatever, thus keeping him within the budget. I've been working with the schools, Newton Falls schools. They had requested, and I've been working with the law director, been in close contact and asked a lot of questions of our insurance carrier on, they've asked about using our shooting range for training purposes. So we've gotten all the legalities taken care of. So we're gonna get an agreement in place where they will be able to utilize our shooting range for their training purposes of their personnel. So we should be able to finalize that in the next couple weeks here, so. And spring's coming. For the zoning department, the mowing of any properties that are deemed to be outside of the zoning code, the high grass or whatever, we do have an ad out taking, accepting proposals to be able to award a contract for that. So, and then I'll be working with the finance director to make sure that all of our policies are in line with, so that the finance department will be able to proceed and correctly get any assessments that may be needed from that. So that's all that I have for tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Milad. We'll move on to approval of previous minutes. That's the regular meeting minutes from March the 5th, 2025.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Ms. Stimpert and Ms. Benitez. Mr. Rufner,
Yes.
Mr. Burke. Through the chair, I'd like to abstain since I was not here on council. Ms. Benitez
Yes.
and Ms. Stimpert.
Yes. And then I would like to make a motion to accept his abstention.
I'll second it.
Ms. Stimpert and Ms. Benitez. Mr. Rufner,
Yes.
Ms. Stimpert,
Yes.
Ms. Benitez.
Yes.
Both passed 3-0.
All right, next we have public hearings, and this would be ordinance 2025-02 amended. And this is an ordinance approving the recodification, editing, and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various codes of the codified ordinances of Newton Falls, Ohio. All right, next we have ordinance 2025-7. This is an ordinance ratifying and/or confirming the administrative overhead cost allocations to the Electric Revenue Fund, the Water Revenue Fund, the Sewer Revenue Fund, and the General Fund. All right. Next is ordinance 2025-8. It's an ordinance amending Newton Falls hydrant bulk water rates effective May 1st, 2025 for the years 2025 through 2026, and that the hydrant water rates are instituted with the fire hydrant usage metering policy attached to Exhibit A. Next is ordinance 2025-09. This is an ordinance authorizing the interim city manager to enter into an agreement with the National Pump and Process Incorporated to remove, repair, and reinstall a high-service pump for the Newton Falls water plant. Next is ordinance 2025-10. This is an ordinance authorizing interim city manager to enter into an agreement to purchase a 2025 Ford F-350 from Charchone Ford Lincoln and upfitting the truck with a service body from Quality Truck Body for use by the Water Distribution Department. Next is unfinished business, which would be ordinance 2025-2. This is an ordinance approving the recodification, editing, and inclusion of certain ordinances as part of the various codes of codification ordinances of Newton Falls, Ohio.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Rufner, Ms. Stempert. Discussion? Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes,
Pass 4-0.
Next is ordinance 2025-7. This is an ordinance ratifying and/or confirming the administrative overhead cost allocations to the Electric Revenue Fund, the Water Revenue Fund, the Sewer Revenue Fund, and the General Fund.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Ms. Stempert, Ms. Benitez? Ms. Benitez?
Yes,
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Pass 4-0.
Next, we have ordinance 2025-08. This is an ordinance amending Newton Falls hydrant bulk water rates effective May 1st, 2025, for the years 2025 through 2026, and that the hydrant water rates are instituted with the fire hydrant usage metering policy attached as Exhibit A.
I'll make the motion.
second.
Mr. Rufner, Ms. Benitez? Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes,
Pass 4-0.
Next is ordinance 2025-09. This is an ordinance authorizing the interim city manager to enter into an agreement with National Pump and Process Incorporated to remove, repair, and reinstall a high-service pump for the Newton Falls City Water Plant.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Benitez and Mr. Rufner? Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes,
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Pass 4-0.
Next is ordinance 2025-10. It's an ordinance authorizing interim city manager to enter into an agreement to purchase a 2025 Ford F-350 from Charchone Ford Lincoln and upfitting the truck with a service body from Quality Truck Body for use by the Water Distribution Department.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Benitez and Ms. Stempert? Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes,
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Pass 4-0.
Next, we have new business. This is ordinance 2025-11. This is an ordinance authorizing certain amendments to the appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, and authorizing the finance director to amend and file certificate of resources with the county auditor.
I'll make
Go ahead.
the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Rufner, Ms. Stempert? Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
yes,
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Pass 4-0.
All right. We're going to move on into public comments. Limited to 3 minutes.
Still having a little trouble with my back. What I would like to speak on tonight is the annexation of Dunkin' Donut. I have in my possession a purchase agreement where Mr. Stuart White agreed to annex. Mr. Rufner, Mr. Fedorov, Mrs. Purdy, the ex-city manager, and myself negotiated this. There's also an ordinance for anybody to get our utilities has to annex to the village, which was passed around 2016 or so. I'd like to ask a question. Mr. Libram, did you send a letter to the commissioners when you first took over? Second one that I'd like to ask tonight was, why was the firm who was handling this contract, not informed? Not to blame you, Mr. Libram, because you take your direction from the city council, but what firm is handling it now, if any? The amount of money our school systems has lost is sizable. I would like not to shut the utilities off, but if we could backdate to a reasonable time originally when it was opened, because Dunkin' Donuts shouldn't have opened until it had passed. Even if there were some slight issues with it, should have been resolved. Adjustments could have been made, and he didn't start building for a couple of years after. We had talked personally to Braceville at the meeting, and Mr. Aaron Young met with us in the city manager's office. We had promised Braceville city lights to light up the intersection, which we did, and we had also tried to get the state to lower the speed limit out there to 45, which was to no avail. The state wouldn't go along with it. Also, we had promised Braceville, we had talked about a joint economic development area, a JED, as a way of mending fences with Braceville and not going through a fight and thousands of dollars to get our way as we had done in the past. Okay, let me see if I got I think that's all I have. I appreciate it. If anybody would like to see the paper, anybody would like to see the purchase agreement, what he agreed to, and I think you'll find one in the office in one of the cabinets that was signed to, if you can. And I think Mr. Libram, when I first met the gentleman, the honorable gentleman, it was on a different thing. It was at the court. And I sort of shocked him that we had the ordinance about annexing. And that was with the previous administration. We can go back and dig all that up. I don't want to start any trouble down here, but our school's desperate for the money. And
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Koryak.
thank you.
All right, closing remarks. Mayor has no closing remarks. Council, Ms. Pat, do you have anything? Ms. Jolie?
I'm excited, through the chair, I'm excited to be on council to help my colleagues move the city forward.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Berg. Mr. Rufner, do you have anything, sir?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Ms. Julie?
Yeah, I would like to welcome Bob. I appreciate you applying and being willing to come up here and set. I think we have a great crew of very independent thinkers and everybody wanting to move the village forward. So welcome. Welcome.
Mr. Limbian, do you have
Nothing,
anything, sir?
nothing right at this time, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Jamie, do you have anything?
Nothing at this time. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Novotny, do you have anything, sir?
No comments. I would ask just for a brief executive session. I do have a couple things.
Certainly.
I would like to request, make a motion to recess an executive session for personnel for hiring of a public official. I don't know what purpose you're having.
I'll second it.
But hold on, Mike's got,
Possible legal.
Okay.
That's Ms. Stimpert and Ms. Benitez. Motion to enter executive session, for the purpose of discussing employment of a public official and possible litigation. Mr. Rufner,
Yes.
Ms. Stimpert,
Yes.
Mr. Burke? Yes. And Ms. Benitez.
Yes.
Pass 4-0, 6:46 PM.
And then are we okay to release Jamie? We don't have anything
I'll second.
Ms. Stimpert,
Yeah.
Mr. Rufner. Exit executive session. Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stimpert?
Yes.
Pass 4-0, 7:31.
I'd like to make a motion to
To adjourn?
adjourn, sorry.
I'll second it.
Ms. Stimpert, Ms. Benitez?
Thank you for finishing my
Mr. Burke?
sentence.
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stimpert?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Pass 4-0, 7:31.
Meeting
you.
adjourned.
Teamwork, appreciate you finishing that sentence for me.
Hey, Jeff.
You were on a roll and it just.